Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Private Club Radio Show, where we give you the scoop on all things private golf and country clubs, from mastering leadership and management, food and beverage excellence, member engagement secrets, board governance, and everything in between, all while keeping it fun and light. Whether you're a club veteran just getting your feet wet or somewhere in the middle, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Denny Corby. Welcome to the show. In this episode, I am super excited, stoked to be chatting with the wonderful and magnificent Sandra Petti from Nashada Country Club in Concord, Massachusetts. What a treat, what a delight, what a great human, a wonderful person she is, and super stoked to have her here on the show chatting with us. She is the Chief of Staff, Membership, and Marketing Director at Nashada Country Club, and she does so much for the club, and it shows. She pulls off events so magical, even Santa himself needs two stand-ins to keep up. We're going to talk about their Santa Brunch, where she has to have two Santas, two seatings going on at the same time, because she has over 600 attendees coming through, and it is all just so perfectly choreographed and timed with seating charts, a cappella carolers. It is quite the event, but it's not just this event. All of her events, her entire club is rocking and rolling. They just went through an amazing, amazing renovation, and Sandra shares the inside scoop on turning every member touch point into something that's extraordinary, and why she believes families are the future of clubs, and how her chief of staff role helps keep her club's vision on course. There's so much packed into this episode. We're gonna have to probably do another one because what she has done with CRMs and automations that help enhance and allow her to duplicate herself, because she uses automation to enhance and not to take away, and uses it in a way that it still provides a memorable experience. I think when a lot of people think of automation, they think of like losing that personal touch, but when it's done right, no one's ever going to notice. And what I really enjoy about this episode is, obviously on the show, we bring on guests and people who are names, people who are very well known in the industry, but I also want to focus and bring on people who are just out there at a club, who are just doing well in small cities, and just out there killing it. And that's what this episode is just a club that is just out there killing it for their club, for their members, for their communities, for the families involved. And this episode is just so good. And I am super, super, super excited for this one to be happening. Before we get to the episode, quick thanks to some of our show partners, Concert Golf Partners, Kenneth's Member Vetting, and Golf Life Navigators, as well as myself, the Denny Corby Experience. There's excitement, there's mystery, also there's magic. It is the most fun member event you will have, guaranteed. If you're looking for a very fun, interactive, crowd-focused show, check out dennycorby.com. And better yet, sign up for our newsletter, Private Club Radio, because I will be sending out and almost finished with the club entertainment guide, all things private golf and country clubs when it comes to member events. I go deep. It's going to be epic. If you want early access, make sure you sign up to the newsletter. Everyone who signs up to the newsletter gets early access. privateclubradio.com. It pops right up. Enough about that. Let's get to the episode. Private Club Radio listeners, let's welcome my friend and soon to be yours, Sandra Petti. I'm doing well. Selling any memberships today?
Yes, I did. I'm
Now,
happy to say.
how many do you guys have a wait list or no?
We don't have a wait list right now. We are looking for probably 10 to 15, maybe even 20 more members. The club is large, and a lot of our members travel in the summer, so we have the capacity to actually have more members during peak season or perceived peak. Our busiest times are like May and June and September and October. As I
Gotcha.
said, our members travel quite a bit, so that you're able to get a tea time in the summer and a seat at the pool and dining. So wait list
That's
is
not a
always
bad thing.
No. I mean, I position it that way. I can give you access in a climate where there's not a lot of access, and a customer that's looking for access for their family.
Yeah. And because your sales skills are good, so you know who you're selling to, so you know what parts to hit. Because some people, that's probably not even a care for them in the world. They don't care
Right.
that they need that access, so why even bother talking to them about that or trying to do that? No, you weren't always in clubs, right?
No, no. I was a wedding planner for 15 years.
That's how you have so much patience.
Is that it? Is that what we're
I don't
calling it
know.
today?
I don't know. I just felt like that was the right word.
I was I shouldn't even tell you this. I was a model for 12 years. I modeled for a company called Barbizon. They're big in Boston. And I did some acting and
Barbizon.
such. Barbizon, all of it. And you learn how to act when you need to. And you're really a duck on water a lot. Don't let them see how fast you're paddling.
Oh, that's a funny analogy. Yeah, yeah, that's
Absolutely
funny.
true. Yeah.
And then how did you find clubs? Did clubs find you? What was that journey?
I so I was a wedding planner for 15 years. In the fall of the economy, I lost my job and
Mm,
decided to pick up golf. My husband had just started, and I went to the range with him one day, hit a ball, it went in the air, and I said, "All right, I'm going to need a lesson because I'm totally hooked." And then I would just really hang out at the driving range. I was a range rat, hung out with the boys, learned how to play with the boys. And I say golf saved my life. And I used to walk around and say, if I could only get a job in the golf world, that would be dynamite. And so I did. I got a job at Ipswich Country Club in north of Boston and was the member relations person. And then this came along and I applied and I got it. But it was quite an interview process. It was an 8-hour interview.
what?
8-hour
A
interview.
single interview for
Yeah,
eight
one
hours.
interview. It started with 2 pages of essay questions that I needed to complete and send back by a certain day. And then they told me that they would cull down the group and there'd be a phone interview, which I never got. I got an invitation to come to the club. I needed to bring my spouse and plan on being here the whole day.
with
And
with your spouse.
with my spouse. So he's like, "What?" I'm like, "You're doing
Now,
this."
now is this at Nishotic?
Mm-hmm. It was a prior
Wow.
GM. And when I arrived, it was very well crafted in that I was taken and my husband and I were together, say like the first hour, and then they separated us. And we went to all the departments. I only met with team members, never met with the GM, who, as you know, I work very closely with the GM.
Yeah.
Um, and then the GM, met with my husband. So when you think about it, they can ask questions to my husband that they can't ask me. I met with the board. I met with the membership
Mm.
committee. I had a presentation about what I do and how I do it. And they talked to Bob about what do you like to do for fun? Sat at the bar. And, then I had to go to dinner with a bunch of members and some employees. And the member sitting across from me was a banker. And he said to me, "There's no money in banking." Yeah, that was the face like, "Oh, okay." And he asked me, "What do I think the future of clubs is going to be?" And I said, "It's all about the family. You have to be able to attract young families who will be with you longer and provide programming that meets the needs of them, their wife, and their children." And he said, right to me, I couldn't disagree more. Salad hadn't even hit the table. I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be a long one."
Another gin and tonic, please.
Yes, please. One more.
Keep it flowing.
TNT. Yeah. So we left, and my husband was like, "Wow, you're really quiet." I'm like, "Oh, totally lost it there." And they called me the next day and said, "You want to come work for us?"
That was probably like a internal prank.
Yeah.
Like they all talked about it before. Like, let's see how uncomfortable we can make Sandra.
Well, I said it to the GM after I was in. I'm like, what were you thinking setting me up with him? And he said, that's the answer he needed to hear. That's who I wanted. I didn't want someone who said, well, it should be legacy, because that's what he believed. It's all
Yeah.
legacy. My son should have priority over everyone else, that whole thing. And that was really a dying mentality. If you didn't embrace the family aspect of it, you were going to miss the boat.
Is he still a member or did he
He
leave?
is not a member any longer.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
How soon after?
Oh, I'd say 3 years after, 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So okay.
But he did come to an event that was like a member mixer or something. And he came over to me and said, you've really done a good job here. I didn't see the vision you were laying out, but it really has come to fruition. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Now, did you always have this personality and this kind of go getter, gonna like do it? Like, was that always in you, or did it like evolve over time and you just
Always in me.
started? Got
Always
you.
in me. My family really wants to know where I came from. I grew up like the Big Bang Theory. I have twin brothers that are extraordinarily brilliant, organic chemist and nuclear
You're a
engineer.
triplet?
No, they're twins, and I'm Penny.
Oh, I thought I thought maybe
No,
there was three of you. Okay,
no.
okay.
So they came first, and of course my parents were glowing and proud, and then there was me. And I think I was just vying for attention, and so being Italian, the
Hello, my
louder you
baby.
were, the
Hello,
more
my
you
darling.
got.
Hello, my Clementine. Like,
Exactly, exactly. So really,
oh,
I'd sit there at dinner and have no idea what was going on. The conversation, I was like, "Yeah, I am Penny. I am Penny from the Big Bang." Like, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
what skills transferred from the wedding business, the wedding planning, doing all that, coming over to membership relations, members communications, stuff like that?
Well, it goes back to how you make them feel, right? I mean, you can choose to have your wedding anywhere. You can choose to be a member at any club, but at the end of the day, it's how you make them feel, and that they are your favorite member at that time, or all the time, or you are the favorite bride I've had, and that mentality of wanting to serve and bring see the joy on other people's face. I enjoy that, and my organizational skills. So that's a big one. Being a wedding planner, you need to be organized. And so the larger events that we do here at the club, that I we all affectionately call Sandra's majors, and they are the majors. They're the big ones. They're over 500 people, and you need someone who can kind of see the entire picture and all the aspects and pull it together. A lot of logistics that go into it. So I
What
think
are
all of that
these?
just, what are these majors?
What are the majors?
Easter, Mother's Day, the Men's Invitational, which is a 3-day event, Halloween, it's huge at Neshonic, and Santa Brunch, which is opens up tomorrow, and then the annual ball. Those are the majors.
What your Santa Brunch? You have what, like two different seatings, two different Santas. It's a constant flow.
It's
You were talking about that when we were at Nishadik, and I was like, "What is going on?" Like, "Oh, it's Santa Brunch." I'm like, "What? Two Santa?" I was like, "This is bonkers."
So Santa used to come in a helicopter because it's Neshonic, and he'd land on the
Why not?
driving range, and the kids loved it. But at that point, we were only doing like 250 people. I now have 625 to 650 people that I need to serve. So it is, again, orchestrated. I split the building into two sides. There are two Santas, two Mrs. Clauses, elves. Every kid gets a gift. And then you arrive and you know to stay on which side. Wherever you're seated, you stay on that side of the building. So as we crossed over to the other side for lunch, we would never allow that.
Ah,
And so I do send all of the attendees an email prior that states, what to know before you go, and we don't want to ruin the spirit of Christmas for anyone. So we ask that you stay on the side that you've been assigned to. And I do a floor plan based on the guests and who they normally sit with friends, families, people they know. So they don't say, oh, I want to run over and see if Denny's there. No, no, you're not running over to see if Denny's there. And it's
You're not
really,
going anywhere, kid.
you're going nowhere. And it's great. And the kids all love it. And then they usually leave here and head downtown to a Santa parade that they do in a tree lighting in Concord. And it's the same Santa. So when they get there, they see the same Santa, and it's
Santa's
magic.
Santa's hustling.
They're like, it's him.
Well, for half of them.
Yes.
The other half, they're like, oh, wait, who's this? Who's this imposter?
Who's this imposter?
What? When did you start doing? Have you always done the two Santas, or was that
No.
like one
So
year? You're
I
like,
think
what
it
if we had
was,
two? And you're like, oh, of course, that just makes sense.
I think it was 22. It, it was
What
December
did
of
like one kid?
22.
Did you ruin the spirit for one family? This kid freaked out.
No, none of that happened, fortunately. I just had a huge turnout, and I thought it was going to be fine. And then our lovely GM, Chris, the math wizard, says, have you done the math? And he was in Europe and he was coming home for it. He's like, how many people do you have? And then he's like, have you done the math? I'm like, no, what math? No, I don't do math. I do happy. And he
Yeah.
said, that gives Santa 30 seconds with each kid. If a kid has a meltdown, we're going to have a problem. We're not going to be able to turn the table, all of it. Back up. If somebody doesn't have a good time with Santa, it's going to be a problem. I'm like, okay, give me 20 minutes. I called Santa. I said, who do you know? He goes, oh, I got a friend who's Santa, because they all know each other. It's like the Santa group. I got a guy. And I said, do you have a lady too? He's like, I can get you a lady. And so we did two in each room, and I sorted it. And then when the kids arrive, I give them a ticket that says, I talked to Santa this morning. He wants to see you at 11 o'clock. This is your ticket to see Santa. And they're like, they're glowing. So then they nudge Mom and Dad. We got to go. We got to go see Santa at 11. As soon as you get up, I flip that table. And so I'm able to turn the tables quickly here.
So is Santa still in the same rooms, or is he in a different room? Like, so
He's
how do
in
you
a
set it
different
up in
room.
the main?
So there's the ballroom where we were, and then where the bar was in that little room, Santa.
That.
And then on the other side, Santa's in one of the back rooms, and then we seat in the grill in the summer. And then all the food goes in that middle area.
Yep. And then I'm sure if you needed to, you can pipe and drape and make a extra wall or something. Yeah, that's. But
I have to hustle Santa in the back door. Santa's in the back door through the kitchens. Go over there, stay on your own side.
You got walkie talkies. People are the aisles clear. Santa's coming through.
The package is in the open. I do wear a headset. It's too many people.
No one's on it, but it just looks so official.
Well, the first year it was totally decor, and making the image come out.
Well, and
selling it to the membership.
The easiest way to get out of conversations. A member, someone's trying to chat. You're like, yeah, oh, right, sorry, yeah, I gotta go. Sorry, and then bang, you're out.
You got it.
You're out.
No, it's imperative. There's too many people.
Yeah, that's so cool. What other cool little touches do you do for?
We have high school carolers come, the Glee Club essentially, and they are 10 kids, boys and girls, that walk around and sing a cappella and all the carols, and they walk through the rooms, and the little kids' jaws drop. They can't believe that sound comes out of their mouth. And it's very inspiring and emotional. People are crying because it's beautiful. And as they walk in, they're lined up on the staircase normally as people are walking in, and they're singing. And it's like, it's impressive.
Cool.
Yeah. And I usually get a big Victorian sleigh and put it outside with packages in it. And so they can take pictures there. And it's a great day. It's a great day.
Yeah. Now, do you have two different kids, like two different groups of kids singing now? So now you have
No, they
20
sing the
kids?
whole time. So I'll bring them in more like 10 o'clock instead of 9:30 when people start, but they'll get
Yeah.
it and then they'll end earlier because they too
Yeah.
go to the tree lighting downtown and they head down there and do their thing at 4 o'clock. So
That's
it,
impressive.
it's a great day. It's crazy, but when all things fire properly, it's a great day.
So what time does it all start?
9:30 is the first seating, and it's like 70 people every half hour, so about 140 an hour. And
Wow.
everybody wants 11 o'clock, and I can't do that, so there's a lot of moving and shaking.
Yeah.
We do the best we can.
No, I totally, and I'm sure in the people who have their set time, but they show up when they show up. And
I will say, so our early birds, I know who they are, and in a pinch, I've moved them to 9:15 because they're going to be
yeah,
there at 9:15 anyway, and
yeah,
that allows me to pick up a few more seats. But this membership is pretty well rehearsed. I don't want to say trained, but they know
now
how
at this
many
point,
people we do, and they're very appreciative of the staff and what actually has to get executed. So don't be late. Like I say it in that email as well. Like
yeah.
please arrive 5 to 10 minutes early
Well,
because
because
that means
like, how
something
do you
else to
even
everybody.
handle even just the flow of traffic? I'm just like, you must have
Yeah,
personnel out there directing with the cones and the lights,
yeah,
looking like the airport with those
exactly. There's
things, the
traffic.
vests.
Exactly. So it's a lot.
Dumb question. Do you have to get like the local police involved for like traffic out on like the street and stuff, or is it
No,
all? Oh no, because your driveway so long.
yeah,
Never
the
mind.
driveway's long,
Yep, yep.
and
No, I was just thinking because it's the two lanes out front. So I forgot the entrance coming in is great. Love
yes,
coming into your club because you have people that's on the driving range smacking balls at you. It's awesome.
and the trees that line the
No,
driveway
it's
are
gorgeous.
magnolias. They're beautiful. I mean, cherry blossoms, and they bloom on Mother's Day, which is beautiful. Another big event, so they're absolutely spectacular when you come in for Mother's Day, and that's great.
Yeah. Now you don't do two bunnies, do you?
No, so I don't do the Easter Bunny. I don't like the Easter Bunny. He's creepy. By definition, the Easter Bunny is creepy. So I'll do things like magic shows with bunnies
Yeah.
or
Smart.
magicians,
Yep.
something like that. I need some sort of activity again to pick them up and move them off their table. So we try to get
Yeah.
creative with those things. That seems to
Interesting.
work for the group.
Yeah.
And there's always a photo booth, and they love that.
Do you, any feedback when now did where how do I phrase it? Did you always not do bunnies, or was it one year you're like bunnies are out?
It was 1 year. I mean, prior to me, so when I came here, I was just, I wasn't just, I was the membership director. I didn't do the events.
Yeah.
The clubhouse was older and smaller, and they did bunnies. We have the bunny suit. We now put the bunny head in a window for Halloween with a candle in it, lights up, and it's staring out at people, and they think it's scary because it is. But it's a really old bunny suit, and
Yeah.
I think pretty much after COVID, it was like, yeah, I'm not getting in that suit.
Yeah. Mickey or nothing. Mickey or
That's
nothing.
right.
Um, so the club is beautiful. Nishadik is a beautiful club. You just had a gorgeous renovation, and what I like is the to me like when you showed me on the video, and then when you're there and see them, like the details, because I was asking like who designed it, and you said like not club people, which I thought was fascinating, because I just felt like some of the details, it was like, oh, like this can close here and it hides that. There was just like some things I've just haven't seen in like a modern club, and I'm like, oh, that's such a smart idea, just to be able to flip the room and just make it look different just by doing a
Right. So, I mean,
couple of
we
things.
built it. There was is an architect, obviously. We had a very small design group of a couple of members, myself, the GM, and we were able to shed some light on operationally what works and what doesn't. And that's important because everybody can build something pretty, but if it doesn't work, then that's not going to work for us. So we've made some modifications along the way to make it work for us, but it is pretty and it meets the needs of today's modern member. It's what the look they want. It often mimics their own personal design style in their homes. So it just feels like an extension of their home.
And you did something interesting. What was it with it was the view of the kitchen, right? Or not the view of the kitchen, but the view of the restaurant and where the members eat and hang out.
Right, right. So it overlooks the course. And
And
it
the
that
last design, it was more for the banquets.
right. So part of the building itself expanded, but in the smaller part of it that was original, let's say, it used to overlook the course, and that was the event side. And the sunset right there, and that was the best view in the house. And we were giving it away to private events. And there was a small deck that I used to do sunset dinners on. And I'm like, why is this the event side? Doesn't make sense. So we swap sides. Now the members have the beautiful view overlooking the course. 40 additional seats out front that you can watch people tee off, and that whole sunroom that just overlooks the course and the driving range. It's sensational views, especially in the fall. Even the winter. The winter looks dynamite out there. It's like a sheet of glass.
Yeah. And that's a cool change to do, because I think a lot of clubs would just keep it like, oh, we'll leave it for the banquets or whatever. But I like that. Were any members mad? Like any members like, oh, this is
No, no, the members were actually pleased with that change because it is the best view in the house.
yeah.
And then when we built it, we were very intentional on the private event side that they have their own restrooms, their own kitchen, their own bars. So not to compound the problem in the dining room on a Saturday night for a member who's trying to have dinner and realizes the wait times are exceedingly long because there's a wedding going on. And that would ruin the member experience overall.
And they're never going to experience that again.
No, they should never experience that because there are two separate, everything is separate. In addition to those additional smaller rooms we have on both sides of the building, should
Yeah.
there be a private event that needs a smaller room and a member wants a room, we don't want to say no to the member because we've sold it to someone else. So we have other rooms on the member side that they still have access to. And the rooms
Yeah.
get quite busy. The people book up these little rooms.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's we'd rather just bring the group of people out. We don't have to worry about cleaning up or doing anything. Like it's just
Exactly.
we'll take the small room. Give us a small room. It'll feel
Yeah.
like
Can you
ours.
just take care of this for us? And that's what we do.
Yeah. So,
Anticipating that need. So we know that it's little Johnny's birthday. And we, drop the seed. Where are you having that party? You could
yeah.
do it here. And then they're like, wait a minute. Why don't we do it here? So that's how it works. And we have the rooms to accommodate that. We also have a youth center that's dedicated for our youngest members. I told you we have over 325 kids under the age of 10. So we have a lot of enhancement programs that go out of there, a lot of crafts and interaction with other kids. It's like a club within a club for the kids.
Yeah.
So
How
sometimes
how
somebody
often do you
will.
have that open? Or like what's
Oh,
that?
that's open all the time. So if a parent wants to get a workout in, they can drop the
Yep.
kids off at the kids center. If you want to have dinner with just your significant other and leave little Johnny downstairs, you can do that, and then you finish. And little Johnny wants to hang out with Charlie, so it all works.
Yeah.
I mean, next week we have Friendsgiving. So I do a big Friendsgiving that takes over the whole a la carte side. And then I do kids' Friendsgiving at the same time. So they're able to drop off their kids at the kids' Friendsgiving. They're socializing at their Friendsgiving, and then they all finish at the same time.
That's
Keep
cool.
everybody
Can
together, but separate.
yeah. No, that's pretty cool. Do you guys do like summer camps and stuff
Yep.
like that?
Summer camp. Summer camp is about 7 weeks in the summer. They
Wow.
get instruction on each discipline: golf, tennis, swim. And then in the afternoon, we do some bonus classes. This year we did archery. We own a land across the street that we mowed down and do archery instruction, which was
Oh,
dynamite.
that's cool.
Yeah. And they've done all kinds of things. A lot of yoga classes. They love that. Then they theme out the weeks. We'll do a survivor week. And their kids are running around doing scavenger hunts. And it's really fun because they
Deflating
get into it.
volleyballs and
Yeah, they
bonkers.
walk around with torches. The tribe has spoken.
Kids are pawning snacks.
Yeah.
No,
Who's got the immunity idol?
you guys are hiding like gushers and stuff in the bushes. Kids are fine. I got
Yeah.
up.
And they'll go around and apparently they've taken pictures of Chris and I, and then they make like a puzzle out of it. They'll tear it up, and that's part of the thing. They have to solve the puzzle, and it's a picture of us. And it's like, it's Sandra and Chris. They're putting it together.
That's funny. That's funny. Now, what falls under your jurisdiction? What funders of funders? What follows under your reign? Because your membership, and then you have chief of staff on your name also. So do you do like what don't you do?
I don't teach racket sports, although I was asked to. Um, what don't I do? So, chief of staff, people often ask me about that title. It is not, I overlook all the staff. It's more to be aligned with a political type of role, chief of staff. So, I am what they call the trusted advisor of the board and the GM. Somebody said I was his consigliere. Call it what you will, but I sit on the board. I sit on all committees. I am that person that manages the strategic plan for the club and make sure it's executed in some ways and always really, and because that impacts the membership experience. So yes, I recruit, retain, make sure the experience is right for all members, but I send every communication from the club goes through me. So the branding and the message is in line with what we want to say. And then I have this chief of staff role. So it's at one point I was overseeing all the food and beverage as well, but I've stepped back a little bit from that. Trying because we're about to, do some more projects here that require me to be in another area. And that's where that chief of staff role comes because there's a lot. So we're doing a pool project and, I'm looking at, pool decking materials and and hang on, I got a tour, and then I go do a tour.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things like Sandra, the towels are out in the locker room. I'll get a text, and so I just deal with it. But it's an interesting role. Every day is different. It's never what you expect when you come in. How about that? I think I'm going to do this today, and I do everything else but that.
It helps our, or at least that would help my like ADD mind. Like it helps. Like
So I think part of that is that we go back to what you said, like what skills did I bring? It is that organizational skill that I can look at that big picture, whatever it may be that day, and say, this is what we're doing. This is all we can do. And it just sort of, for people who can't see through it, I sort of lead the way. Like, this is how we can get there. And strategically, what aligns with what our needs are and our mission is from the board. They'll set the directive and the tone.
a lot of ownership.
Very much so. But I wanted it. I mean, I wanted it. I said this is what I wanted. I knew I could do more.
Even
but
like, was
in a
this part
different
of
way.
like the conversation when you were getting hired? Like was this
No,
like were
no,
these...
it came after it evolved through the change in management as well as the club being redone. There was a big change in once they voted for the renovation, they wanted some change at the higher end leadership. They made those changes. Chris and I were the last couple standing, and we said, all right, let's go. We're in it, and sort of said we can do this. And we've kind of just done it. And right through COVID, we opened right in the middle of COVID, August of 2020. And it was great and innovative, and you just learn to solve problems and think on your feet.
What's best is the club probably never felt cleaner because it was brand new. So there's probably no other better place to be than this brand new building.
Precisely. And people love that. The high ceilings, a lot of open spaces, or really small rooms for individual dining. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It aligned exactly with what we needed at the right time.
We are going to wrap this up, but we're going to do a part two.
Part two. Part deux.
Part deux. Un, deux, trois.
Part deux.
Canadian, un, deux, trois, eh? Sorry.
Yes.
But no, I want to do a part 2 going into more of your chief of staff role, being involved in so many committees and things, and then also your CRMs and your processes, things that we talked about for the PCMA event that we did. But no, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on, and look forward for part 2 when that's going to happen. I'll find a link on your schedule.
I'll send you a calendar link. You got it.
Hope you all enjoyed that episode. I know I did. Wow. Cannot wait. We're going to have to do another one just on her systems and her working with HubSpot and the amazingness that she does with that platform and program that helps her achieve tremendous results with her club. If you're enjoying the content, a like, share, subscribe means the world, costs nothing. A 5-star rating with a review. Oh, even better. That's this episode. I'm your host, Andy Corby. Until next time, catch y'all on the flippity